Gilbert Arenas said this about college basketball. Check it out.
College basketball is exactly what it is. It's just college basketball. None of it is real in a sense of who's going to be great at the next level, right? That the college basketball cannot dictate that because the landscape of college is for college basketball. Here, all pros, right? You might be playing against an opponent who's not a pro basketball player.
Yeah.
So what you're doing out there is irrelevant to the big picture. So, it's more like, I watch it for the excitement, but, evaluating, I look for bones. What are the bones to this person? It was like house. So there's the bones, is the structure good? Then, we can work with it.
Well, now, if you're still here, hit that button, like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate it. Now, I agree with Gilbert on some things and I disagree with him on others. Where I do agree with him is college basketball is a totally different game than the NBA. I totally agree with him on that. It's different rules, schemes, strategies, everything like that. The coaching style is different. Everything is different when it comes to that. Where I disagree with him at is calling it fake and acting like it's not a good evaluator for the NBA. Now, granted, some players flourish more in the NBA than they do in college because their athleticism and their game is more structured for the NBA because it's a little bit more open. You're playing with better players. It's not as claw. Like you can deal like an Ant-Man, for instance. Like he was obviously better in the NBA than he was in college. But at the same time, most teams in the NBA are full of guys that play multiple years of college. If you look at the champions, you look at OKC, a lot of those guys on that team play multiple years of college. So your star players are going to be your stars regardless. But when you're filling out these rosters, you're filling out these teams, and these teams that are in contention, most of them have guys that play multiple years of college. Those guys know how to play. Those guys know how to fall into a system. Those guys know how to be coached. Those guys understand work ethic. Those guys understand these things because of the multiple years of college. Ask yourself this. You see like Tyler Kohler. I'm a Knicks fan. If they send Tyler Kohler to the G League to play a game, he'll have like 40 or like 30 and 15. Like he does crazy stuff like that every time they put him in the G League. Dudes that don't even play when they put him in G League drop like 30. Bronny James will drop 30 in the G League. And then you go look at them at college. Which one is a more accurate measuring tool to see how they would be in the NBA? You tell me. Darius Acuff, before the season started, wasn't even a lottery pick. And now people are looking at him as a top 5 pick, all because of what he's done and what he's been able to display in college. Also, the college game is catching up as far as, even though it's different, you're starting to see more high-level play, more freedom, not as many structured systems and sets, even though you see a lot more of those in college than you do in the NBA. But it is giving guys a chance to see their games. So you have to pay attention to that and not try to knock college and try to say they're not pros, it's fake and blah, blah, blah. Like I can't ride with that because a lot of guys that are actually really good in college are really good players in the NBA. But let me ask y'all, if y'all were a GM or a scout for an NBA team, would you be looking in the G League, overtime elite, or would you be looking at college players? For me, I'm looking at college. Because when I look at the G League, here's the thing about the G League that nobody talks about. Nobody wants to be there. Players don't want to be there. Coaches don't want to be there. Why? Because everybody there is trying to move up to the NBA. Whereas college, you have people that are actually invested in you, invested in the program. So you're learning how to be on a team. You're learning how to be coached. You're learning how to follow a system. You're learning how to follow schemes. So all that stuff, when you're well schooled, is an easier transition for you when you get to the NBA. But if you look at like the Houston Rockets, who guys that don't have a lot of college experience, you got like Amen Thompson went to overtime elite, and they just have raw ability but don't know how to play, you start getting frustrated with them. because you're expecting them to know things that they were never taught. But tell me what y'all think.